Welcome to Cover Slaves, a show where we play 30k and there are no other games that exist.
There's the post-game show.
There's a post-game show, that's also a game. Clarence is with me.
Yeah.
New to the show, Garette. He's rocking Deathguard today. And you're rocking...
Night Lords.
Not Mechanicus, otherwise. or
Custards.
2,500 points. Brand new Realm of Battle board acquired for a song and some trading. And there's a lot of our terrain going off to Brockville now in the store. So we have a Realm of Battle board and we have new Necromunda terrain on it, which makes us happy. Mm-hmm. So it'll be an interesting game today. We have an open board for us at least, not what we're usually used to. There's a lot of movement restrictions, a lot of impassable, but as far as getting sights on each other, it's going to be interesting. I guess we'll be back with armies and terrain, and also not terrain.
2,500 points of Night Lords. My Warlord is Sevatar, that he has his own Master of Ambush Warlord trait. And he's doing Pride of the Legion for his Master of the Legion Rites of War. Then I have Lancehigh, he's the unique character Apothecary that can never be the Warlord. I have two 10-man squads of Terror Marines. They all have Volkites. The Sergeant has a Chainglaive, and they both have Artificer Armor and Melted Bombs. I have a blob of 15 Tactical Marines with extra hand weapon. The Sergeant has Artificer Armor and a Power Fist. I have 5 Cataphracti Terminators with Power Axes and Combi Plasma and the Deep Strike. I have 5 with Sergeant having a Chain Fist, and then 4 Power Fists. They don't have Deep Strike either, it's kind of important. I have 5 Plasma Support Legionaries. Sergeant has Melted Bomb, Artificer Armor. 5 Night Raptors. They all have Chain Waves, and the Sergeant has Artificer Armor and Melted Bombs. I have a Sakaran with no sponsons, because I had no points left. But it does have Armored Ceramite and Dozer Blade. And I have the Drop Pod Leviathan with the Phosphex and the Armored Ceramite and the Graviton, the Siege Drill. And that's 2,500 points.
2,500 points of Deathguard. So the Lord of War choice, Mortarion the Reaper. HQ, we have a Praetor. He's running Reaping Rite of War. He's got a Paragon Blade, Power Fist, Rad Grenades, and Digital Lasers, and a Iron Halo. We have a unit of Cataphracti, Combi Bolters, Power Axes, and a Heavy Flamer Chemunition. They have a Phobos Land Raider as a dedicated transport with Armored Ceramite. We have a Tartaros unit, Combi Plas, Power Fists all around, and that is all for them. 2 identical clone tactical units. Sergeants have a Power Fist, Rad Grenades, and Artificer Armor. Each have a Rhino. And then we have 2 Sakaran Battle Tanks, sponsons, las cannon sponsons, and Ceramite as well on both. So 2,400 points, Deathguard the Reaping.
Night Lord deployment, we rolled and got table quarters, so I picked this one because I won the roll off. Starting out front, I have a screen of my 5 Power Fist Cataphracti. I've got my blob of Tactical Marines and Sevatar and Lancehigh behind them. I've got my Plasma Support dudes, kind of just chilling over there on the edge of that corner. And shit, sorry. Oh no, that's proper.
Cheater.
No, I was confusing that line with this line. These guys are here, kind of lurking behind the pipes and the thing. That I'm messing it all up now. Yep. I've got a bunch of reserves, and it's also a night fight for turn 1, for when that matters. But yeah, on to the reserves. Reserves, I have my 2 units of Terror Marines outflanking. I have my Combi Plasma Terminators deep striking, and I have my Leviathan come down turn 1 in the pod. And see you with Deathguard deployment.
Deathguard deployment, Spartan with Mortarion, Praetor, and Tartaros Terminators in here. We've got the Phobos with Cataphracti unit. We have Rhino over here with a tactical unit. And another Rhino tactical unit. And the 2 Sakarans. holding the back line. So deathguard attempt to steal the initiative. Negative.
So we'll be back with
Turn 1. Night Ward, turn 1. Let's start down here. Plasma support squad moved and ran 2 inches up from 8 inches back to kind of position themselves in the metalworks and to get cover. Not that it matters so much this turn, but for next turn when my bonuses fade, the Terminators kind of position themselves a couple inches further up the line just to really roadblock as best they could. My Sikaran snudged back a bit just to try and get some nice building cover, and it took some pot shots over at the Rhino that was there. It had a really good hit and penetration roll, but Garette passed a whole lot of saves. And then the Leviathan that's in the pod, it is facing like this away, just because of how the pod rules work. It popped it with the melt-a-gun in its fist, and so that got me first blood. Oh, and the last thing is Sevatar failed his, or got denied off his psychic power cast. But yeah, not super exciting, but first blood's nice, and we'll see at Deathguard turn 1.
On a Deathguard turn 1, these guys are trying to move away from the Dreadnought. Transport got blown up. They are booking it, slowly, reaping style. The Land Raider here moved up to draw a bead on the Sikaran that was there. He threw some shots at the Dreadnought, threw some shots into the units over here. Nothing really happened. My Spartan swung around and fired at the Sikaran, blew it up, and killed a guy, I think, maybe. So that's good. That was an objective of mine, was to kill that thing for sure.
Hey!
My Rhino tried to swing around. Unfortunately, with my 6-inch movement, I kind of got pinched here, so he's behind Big Daddy. And my 2 Sikarans sort of maneuvered this way, threw some shots at the Dreadnought inside the pod. Nothing happened there, so kind of a slow start here, but get the ball rolling. And that's Deathguard turn 1.
Night Ward turn 2. Starting things off, I roll for my reserves. I only got the Terminators out of the 3 of them. They landed here. I did kind of want them more central.
Scattered 9 inches.
They scattered 9. They're about like 2 off from the Deathguard tactical marines that were there. They opened up with their plasma guns into the Sikaran. I got like 8 hits, and then I rolled like 3 6s.
The devil.
And I managed to pop it. It was pretty lucky. And then the Leviathan came out of its pod, and between the Grav Bombard, the Melt-a-Gun, and the Volkites, he killed a few more than charged and finished off the rest. So pretty pleased about that. Kind of controlling, splitting down the board with a bunch of annoying shit. And then for the rest of my stuff, my Cataphract, I stayed put. My plasma support kind of moved into position because I see those sneaky flanking Rhino. Sevatar kind of barged his way through the unit and cast Psychic Power.
Morty's not happy.
Yeah, because I see the Land Raider coming up the flank. But yeah, pretty solid over there. But we'll see what turn 2 for Deathguard brings.
End of Deathguard turn 2. Perhaps the most toothless turn of Warhammer 30,000 that has ever occurred. So I moved the Land Raider up to just get away from this scary boy. Turned the las cannons back. Shuffled over the Sikaran. Brought my Spartan up the middle here. Moved some weapon mounts around and disembarked. And this Rhino scooted over this way, perhaps to claim that. Shooting was atrocious, so Sikaran shot into the Leviathan, did nothing. Las Cannon's here, nothing. You've heard this story before. Las Cannon's here, nothing. And the cherry on the top, I had a 4-inch charge. I really wanted to get stuck in here. I rolled a 2.
Snake eyes.
So Mortarian was picking his nose. He'll have to do better.
He's still pissed off with the psychic power.
So that's the end of Deathguard turn 2.
Night Lord's turn 3, top of turn 3. Starting over here, we have one of my 2 terror squads came in from reserve. They both did, and the other one,
Outflank.
yeah, outflanked on the other side. These guys just moved up a bit. I can't actually damage anything with their guns now that the plasma's gone, so they're just kind of menacing. My Leviathan also moved up, and he targeted the Terminator bodyguards with his shooting, and the Phosphorus Discharger did like 18 hits, 11 wounds, and the Deathguard, like, very resilient, managed to tank a whole shitload of those because they get the 4+ from the pain against it, and sadly he was just out with the Grav Flux. And then from the combination of these plasma supports, my 5 Cataphractic Terminators, and my Fury the Legioning Tactical Marines, I managed to put a whole bunch of wounds onto them. But that's still pretty much like all the effective shooting left in my army. I have my Night Raptors back here still like lurking, and I have my other Terror Marines who outflanked in that direction because they saw the Rhino squad trying to scoop that objective from me. And still looking pretty good. The Leviathan's still undamaged, but he's still got fucking lots of tanks left, and Mortarian's about to jump into combat probably, and we'll see at the end of Deathguard turn 3.
Deathguard turn 3, bit of a disastrous turn, but keeping our chins up. So I guess we'll start over here. The Land Raider dumped the Terminators out and kept its guns trained on the Leviathan. Spartan and Sakaran also threw everything with the Land Raider at the Leviathan. Did 2 hull points, not quite enough. Fishing for an explode didn't happen. Mortarian and Praetor, or sorry, I guess over here. Tactical unit came around the corner here, dumped out, and emptied their mags into the plasma group. And that combined with the Rhino killed 3.
MVP.
Yeah. So that was shooting. Mortarian and the Praetor charged into the Terminators. Only killed 2 guys. And then the Praetor had his head crunched by a power fist. And Mortarian took another wound. And did not regenerate a wound. So he is, I don't know, hungover today or what. But he's just kind of cruising through this battle like the last day of work on a Friday afternoon. The Terminators got pretty well massacred. Pretty good flame, heavy flamer, and fusillade of bolt shots. But Night Lords just kicked them in the groin and
that fearless, eh?
Put knives through their eye lenses, and there's one guy left. So end of turn 3. See you at the end of Night Lord's turn 4.
Night Lord turn 4. We'll start down over this side. My Terror Marines moved in some more. They moved 6 inches. They shot at the Deathguard hiding behind the Rhino, and they mowed down like 3. The 2 Plasma Marines killed an additional 2, and I believe he went to ground, so they are pinned right now. Moving down here, my Terminators couldn't repeat their performance of the last turn. Mortarian sifed through them and moved on up. Meanwhile, my own guys did dispatch his Terminators, so it's going to be a big old showdown. My Night Raptors revealed themselves and charged his Land Raider and did nothing. Missed with the Melter Bomb, failed to get the Rens through. And then over here, my Leviathan charged in like a whopping 11 inches and did 2 hull points more to it after glancing his one off with the snap firing meltagun, and that's pretty fun. I destroyed his rightmost sponson, and I shook it, and my Terminators kind of just moved around. My other Terra Marines are marauding up to claim the objective, and it's definitely looking my favor, but Mortarion can fucking do a number on me, so we'll see how that pans out, and we'll see at the end of Deathguard turn 4.
Deathguard turn 4. Start over here. These guys went to ground previously, so they just cooled out. Rhino moved around, attempted a little bit of a feeble block. Spartan moved away from the Leviathan, and itself, the Sakaran and the Land Raider trained guns. Land Raider and Sakaran didn't really do anything to it. Spartan, sorry, but the Sakaran blew it up.
Boom.
So,
long deserved.
yeah, that guy's been
Thorny.
in my side. Killed a Night Raptor with a las cannon. Mortarion charged into the central unit with Sevatar. Was hoping to, sort of in a last-ditch effort, kill Sevatar in a challenge and cause the Night Lord army to
Mass panic.
It did not go that way, so he held his own through the combat, but the Power Fist and Initiative Step 1 took his last wound, and he teleported out to the Endurance. Or died, depending on your version of events.
He'll be back.
So, yeah, end of Deathguard, turn 4.
Night Lord turn 5. Just start down over here. Kind of came around with my Terra Marines. I shot them up with some Volkite, killed 2. Then my Plasma Gunners attempted to gun him down the street. And I did 1 wound, and he passed and went to ground, and they didn't run, so he'll be getting that objective. My dudes just kind of grouped around the objective to make sure I get it. My Night Raptors charged in, didn't do anything with the Melt Bomb, rolled 1 attack, so didn't do anything there. And then my Terminators and crew just kind of mopped around the objective a bit as well. So really not too much left, but let's see what the tanks do, and then see at the end of the game.
End of Deathguard, turn 5? And end of game. So I pretty much just wheeled everybody around and tried to shoot the central unit off the objective. Looking at the board now again, I probably should have shot this unit because it would have been much easier to shift off of that one.
Yeah, it'd be tough with 2+.
With my Primarch being killed by these guys, I guess I was just seeing red. So Rhonda moved in, shot Spartan, Sakaran, Land Raider, all shot in, killed a couple guys, didn't get the job done. So, yeah, end of game.
So take us through the scoring there.
So the scoring would be, Cleary's Nightlords have this one for 3, this one for 3, and he got Primarch kill, so that's Warlord +3 for 10. Is that right?
Yeah, I got Warlord, Primarch, and First Blood.
Right, okay, so 3 + 1. So 10 to 3?
Yeah.
Because you held this guy there.
I got this guy.
Yeah.
That unit took a lot of punishment and still held out.
10 to 3, Nightlords victory.
We'll see you in the post-game show. And welcome to the post-game show. As always, I'm Crabblesworth, joined by Garette and Clarence, and you totally just watched them play a 2,500 point battle report and didn't fast forward because you're just morally awesome in every way. I'm going to throw it to Garette, MVP.
Ooh, it's a tough one. My entire force really dragged their feet the whole game. I want to say the tactical unit that stuck around to the end.
That's pretty cool.
Just because they
got
survived to tell the tale.
And a lot of things shot at them. Like a lot of stuff.
They drew a lot of fire. They kept their heads down. They didn't do anything heroic, but they survived, I suppose.
A Honorable mention to the Rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Rhino.
The Sakaran killing the Leviathan at the end of the game was, I guess, a moral victory, but it didn't really achieve too much.
It felt good.
Yeah, it did.
Because he was shooting at him all game, and it was just like, I'm gonna get you, motherfucker.
I would say the tactical unit.
Yeah. Epic fail.
It's got to be the big man and his Terminator retinue. That rolling snake eyes on that 4-inch charge on what turn?
Yeah, that was the first or second turn, eh? That was rough.
It was like, had that charge gone off,
totally different game.
the game would have been a lot. It could have been a lot
would have
different.
been different, totally.
Yeah, I just wanted to punch a hole in the center and start doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then they took so much fire that the turn after, everything dumped into them. And they just got rocked, and it was just him bleeding out of his eyes, and I have to continue to fight, and all my friends are dead.
7 wounds is nice. That's the one good thing he's got going. I mean, you had him down to 4, and it was he's still in the fight.
Yeah.
He was going at it. Clarence, MVP, sir.
After that big yawn, I think I gotta give it to the Leviathan because he was able to draw a lot of firepower away from the rest of my list. It's 10 las cannons.
It's 14 4+.
6 of which are twin linked. 2 Sakaran auto cannons, and there's a Primarch to deal with. Yeah. And I just knew my list wouldn't be able to take the punishment that was shooting output. On my dudes, I have a lot of normal guys.
True.
They just would have gotten kind of swept aside by a lot of the las cannons.
Takes the heat off.
And also I realized this because I had to kind of quickly remake my list here, that I really fucked up by taking Pride of the Legion. And I was using one of the 2 units that would give up the thing to one to screen, and then the other is a middle of the thing. I was oh fuck, I need this Leviathan to take fire, or else I'm gonna give up 2 victory points right away.
You look at them and you think they're scoring, and it's not in this list.
It's well, they are scoring.
No, I meant the
they're my Terror Marines too. I'm maneuvering them close to objectives. I'm fuck, they don't score. Shit. So yeah, definitely the Leviathan. I'd give Savitar and Friends a runner-up, since they did see off most of the attacks. The Terminators,
epic fail.
Epic fail. The Night Rafters.
They didn't.
The Sakaran put out it's not his fault. The cover saves were passed, but these guys did use them really cautiously, and
2 full rounds of combat. They've got.
Well, you missed the first melted bomb. Didn't clamp on. The second one clamped.
Double
and you roll snake eyes.
So
they just did nothing.
They didn't do anything, but I'm glad I didn't need them to really do something.
That's fair.
That's
fair,
You sort of held them as a reserve in case you needed to react.
But
they're a good counterattack for the jumping.
I also kind of did more damage than I expected to those Terminators. So I was going to rear charge them, and I was I guess I don't need to. I'll throw them over at the Land Raider, and they didn't really do anything there. But
they're unique on this board because they've got a maneuverability no other unit has.
Yeah, the lots of pipes definitely help out a lot. And it was too bad to see Mortaran didn't quite have the maneuverability to jump over the pipe at the one point.
He was just short by a few inches.
Yeah, had to actually go.
Yeah, I wanted to ghost walk him this way, but
I love the term ghost walk. That's sick. I like that.
Very cool.
Ghost walk the whip. Garrett, 2 minutes or less. Your thoughts on the game?
It's a fun game. Again, that Snake Eyes on the charge, I feel really... my heart sunk a little when I saw it, because I needed, a 4-inch charge you almost take for granted. And you're just I need this to go.
Especially since you didn't shoot to guarantee the distance. You had 5 combi plasmas. You could close them down to
And I almost wanted to shoot those plasmas, so I was no, I don't want to kill a couple guys and then screw myself. So...
I still think random charge is not a great rule. Because that shows it, I mean. That's cost you so much.
Yeah. Right? I would like to think if it was some punk lieutenant, he could screw that charge up. But it's the Primarch of the 14th.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to,
Well, it sucks too, 'cause
trip on the ramp going out of the.
you got the fleet, but because he's got the guys with him,
Yeah.
it's like fuck.
Yeah.
Man.
So that was really the only thing that I feel like if that would have changed, it could have created a whole new opportunity for me.
Because I got a whole extra round. I got to shoot like the phosphex. I got to shoot plasma guns, Fury of the Legion, like combi bolters, like everything. I just got to unload into them to really thin it down and make it more manageable.
It shows because there's 4 out of 5 vehicles still up, right? I mean,
yeah, like there's a large amount of vehicles still kicking. That was pretty lucky. I killed them with the combi plasma. Like, definitely eased up on the pressure a bit there, but
it was interesting to watch.
I definitely do like the deathguard. I feel like the 4+ Feel No Pain, while it is like situational against poison, it makes some of the more bullshit weapons like phosphex
Exactly.
not as like brutal to deal with. Like that shit's pretty devastating, and one might say overpowered with crawling fire. Like I think I will say that actually.
When the Leviathan got off the
3
and it just like pounded down on the unit, like hit it every time.
Yeah, it's like oh shit.
Even moving 1 inch is a lot. Moving 2 is
2 inches is insane because it's larger than the template itself, right? So you can
you just aim it like.
But yeah, 4+ Feel No Pain is really nice. Immune to Fear definitely works well against Night Lords.
Coming into the game, I was like, okay, Night Lords, like I don't give a shit. Hang your little skulls off.
And if it wasn't for really like the series of events in the middle with the failed charges and allowing me to like overwhelm his dudes with my dudes and drag them down and work to the advantage of the Night Lord Legion tactics, like it would have been fucking really annoying because I just would have been pounded by like heavy firepower. I have like my center line kind of like chewed up by Primarch and his guys, and not like too much of an answer for it.
Overall, the maneuver was good on your part. Yeah. Especially just like being smart. Like I'm gonna back up 6 inches. I'm not gonna let him take me with the termies. There's no need to like tempt him to come at me and just gun him down.
It was very reactionary. Like I was like things got progressively worse, so I sort of needed to maneuver in a way that would like minimize, Clear's next turn.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you make him. You get his meal. Like he has to earn it.
I even really like the like end play where you're going to kill Sevatar and cause the Nostromo blood run away. Potential for most of my units, and
that would have been fluffy as hell too.
Yeah, like really nice attempt, and I got fucking lucky. I passed all my 3 invo saves without even using the reroll. So
good use of the Rhino for cover as well.
Yeah,
that's smart.
It was a long shot, but it was something.
But it was great for the Volkites because you cut down his Volkite fire.
Yeah, the firepower. I feel all my charges too, so it's kind of just in the way, like acting as a mobile cover.
The humble Rhino, man, it does a lot.
Yeah, even an 8th, it's still good.
It's worth it. Until they limit those to 3, I'm sure that's good.
Nah.
What can we say? I was just stoked to see 2 bad guy armies fight. That was fun. Different, but you both had bodies. The resiliency of the vehicle shows because again, there's like 4 out of 5 are still alive.
Yeah,
and that's a good sign there. I think for 2,500, it's a pretty good list.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's hard to deal with for a lot of builds. I would have a hell of a time if I'm not getting a God of Efficacy early on because I just like you with the Leviathan, I'd have to keep hitting the Spartan. I just wouldn't let it live. And
I would say the one thing would be to put the Flare Shield back on. Didn't really matter too much against my list because I don't really have a lot of
that's what,
shooting.
50 points for a Flare Shield?
It's like 40. But like it makes like, I know like Ben for example loves him some Laser Vindicators and it makes them like kind of piles of shit against the Spartan just because like you can't take advantage of its AP1 through or its ordnance really like you're like okay well, I can whole point this thing down, you'll usually get cover and it just makes a very very good unit like mediocre when targeting it and
no I agree it is I didn't want to drop it. It was one of those things where Like I could have dropped Ceramite on a couple of vehicles, but
And in this case, like
knowing I was playing Night Lords,
it was the right call because like even though like I don't have a lot of Melta, like the one Melta that was shooting you all the time, it wasn't like okay, I'll just like come in and maybe kill his Spartan off the one Melta shot. Like
it's a hard choice between Ceramite and the shield.
Yeah. But
it's 2v1 too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah,
tough choice.
yeah.
We usually shit talk 8th, but we're very hungry.
yeah, and
So-
honestly, I could go on about the deep strike change. Like that
Well, yeah, I was
thing's
gonna
a
say.
fucking
I think 8th
travesty.
ed players are shit talking it enough for us
Yeah,
this week.
that thing's
so
a
we don't have to do it.
travesty on its own.
I will say, GW marketing department. Yeah, it must be rough to have the rules department do that to you. I feel bad for you.
Yeah, can't take everything you want anymore.
Also, any commission painter who like took a commission before this, I feel bad for you because if it was more than 3 of like anything, it's just sort of like garbage, you know. Okay, well,
Yeah.
Not
I
true.
respect it, but I don't. But I do. I'm torn. It's funny. I like that they're fighting spam, but they forgot what fucking Force Orgs were for.
Yeah.
Here we are getting into 8th complaining. I know.
Okay.
It's my fault.
Yeah, just bring that back to 1-4, sorry.
Yeah, bring back the 1 Sorg, and is it wrong to say that they should murder a public figure? I'll just leave it at that. Don't murder a public figure.
Avicii. Avicii was murdered by fucking G-Dub.
Too soon. Too soon.
And the Mini-Me.
R.I.P. Avicii. 28 was 2.
And Mini-Me.
And Mini. Yeah, Vern Troyer died while we were playing, so
Or
It's
at
a-
some
it's a
point.
tragedy.
While we were playing,
No, I
guess?
think
I don't know.
slightly before.
I like to pretend it happened during the game, like he was here and it
That's who
wasn't.
got stuck on the fire raptor.
Oh no!
Got it.
Well, before we get like
Killed.
comment bombed into the ground, thank you for watching, and if you'd like, you could subscribe or not. I'm supposed to tell you to touch the bell so you get notifications.
Yeah,
but-
what is that shit? Like,
Well, they didn't like that people were getting notifications because they, actually chose to do it electively, so they just made you do it twice, basically.
yeah.
You have to like notify that you want to see it, and then like really notify that you want to see it, which it's almost like they're targeting, Philip DeFranco and other channels because that's what they're doing. But anyway, do that for us. So you see us more, and we're gonna get Patreon because we're not getting paid. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I stopped being
Patreon.
paid by my work for no reason,
Yeah.
and I need you guys to pay me instead.
yeah, free money is very important to us. So thanks for watching, and it's the day after, but happy 420.
Okay.
Perfect.
Gods of war, may your hammer be mighty.